I would like to take you to another dimension of scientific psychology. Before presenting my topic, I want to present some groundworks related to my topic. So, I don't know, sometimes it may take some time more. Okay, I'll try my best to make it in time. Okay. So, I would like to invite your kind attention to the hard problem of consciousness. Modern psychology, especially after the decline of behaviorism and the cognitive revolution, there is an increase in the interest of knowing what consciousness is, or what we call as the hard problem of consciousness. Especially there are studies on the nature of consciousness and altered state of consciousness. And transpersonal psychology is a field of psychology, we all know that, which unites the spiritual dimensions and the transpersonal psychology is a field of psychology which integrates the spiritual dimensions into modern psychology's theoretical framework. So, transpersonal psychology identifies consciousness to have a transpersonal nature. Various studies are undertaken on this transpersonal nature of consciousness. The transpersonal nature of human consciousness, what we refer in transpersonal psychology, is innate capability of human consciousness to expand beyond the limited ego, or the limited adult ego, or the limited time and space. That is what we refer to as transpersonal nature of human consciousness. An expansion of identity that transcends the ordinary limitation of time and space. Especially the father of transpersonal psychology, Stanislav Grof, have studied a lot in this field, especially his studies on drug and non-drug experimental techniques like holotropic breath work, effects on LSD on consciousness and such things. And we have in transpersonal psychology a grounded theoretical background and research works regarding this. So we all know that mystical traditions explore consciousness in its depth and dimension, and also they claim to have experienced consciousness transpersonally. But mainstream psychology considers such experience as regressive and abnormal. So as an open-minded representative of science, it is important to explore their experience to grasp a better understanding of human consciousness. So among the mystical traditions, Sufi traditions are a major one in which they claim that they have an equal spiritual and physical life, and their ideologies are distinct from other traditions. They have a unique way of expounding their non-ordinary experiences, insights, mainly through self-disclosing poems and process. So it is important to analyze or explore these works of the Sufis to help us a better understanding of what consciousness is, and to come up with better models of consciousness. It widens the scope of literature, improves chances for empirical studies on consciousness to gain a rich understanding of human consciousness. It also helps in transpersonal development, which is a development beyond the adult ego. So, I would like to talk a little bit about the Sufis of Kerala, especially Malik ibn Dinar, who is considered to be the person or the Sufi saint who brought Islam to Kerala. There are different Sufi orders in Kerala identified: Qadri, Rifai, Chisti, Naqshbandi, and so and so. You can see. Among these Sufi orders, the Qadri order is the prominent one. It is under the Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, a prominent Sufi Sheikh. And all other orders comes under this Qadri order. And talking about the self-disclosing poems and process, Ichamastan, you know, the Virathangal of Ichamastan. Ichamastan was a nomadic Sufi mystic who wandered the streets of Kannur who used to versify his poems on the walls of the streets. And still, the influence of Sufis is still in Kerala in many ways. Although the essence seems lost, there exist such masters here and there in nook and corner of Kerala. So I would like to introduce you a Sufi master named Sufi Master Muhammad Iqbal Shah Qadri. Muhammad Iqbal Shah Qadri was born in Talasheri, Kannur district. He is a prominent Sufi master of Qadri order. After a long journey of struggles, he started expounding his spiritual insights and wisdom to thousands of people who are thirst for truth. So basically, what attracts seekers to this Sufi master is his profound wisdom and deep compassion towards others, that too clothed in divine simplicity and a non-ritualistic lifestyle. He is also very active across social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So, his major work is what the work is named as You. This is the one of the prominent work of the Sufi master Muhammad Iqbal Shah Qadri, that is in Malayalam language. It culminates the insight of Sufi master as different chapters. Each quotes or quotations or process are a chapter by itself. Around 360 pages are there in this book, and what our study is basically the work You, the words or the process of You are actually divine calls from I, or what we call as the pure consciousness, to You or the ego that separate from it, reminding to integrate itself with the I. So it's a call to an exalted state of enlightenment. So the I propound in a mystical fashion to You or the ego of various aspects, including one's true identity, states of consciousness, answering existential questions, nature of reality, the ways and barriers for attainments of high states. So the major theme I found while going through a brief reading in this book is the representation of various mystical states of transpersonal states of consciousness. So it is important to study this transpersonal nature of human consciousness as depicted in this work. So this is my title of the study, The Divine Call from I to You, an analysis of transpersonal nature of human consciousness in the work You of Sufi master Muhammad Iqbal Shah Qadri. I am doing this work under Kiran sir, and talking about the aim of the study, analyze the transpersonal nature of human consciousness as found in the work You of Sufi master Muhammad Iqbal Shah Qadri. And the questions we are asking is, what is the nature of consciousness? What is the nature of consciousness states as conveyed by You? What are the ways and barriers in attainment of transpersonal states as conveyed by You? In what all ways are the transpersonal states of consciousness portrayed in You differ from normal state of consciousness? How the insights of You enrich the modern scientific understanding of consciousness, and how it contributes to transpersonal development. So this is the objective. So the question is, what methodology we use for this analysis? I have looked for many methodologies like hermeneutics, reconstruction, phenomenological analysis, etc., as you see. And when considering the work, we must interact with the author's hermeneutics in order to capture the insights, because they are frequently buried with intricate codified symbolic systems. Such a hermeneutic strategy along with neurophenomenology can enhance the contribution of mysticism to science. So basically what we are using is the hermeneutic neurophenomenology. It is first used by Brian L. Lancaster in his studies in an analysis of mystical states of consciousness in a text called Zohar. So basically we are combining the hermeneutics and the neurophenomenology. We all know that most of the consciousness studies, we use the methodology called neurophenomenology. Basically, to analyze the text, we are using the hermeneutics, and to explain the data, we are using the neurophenomenology method. So neurophenomenology is basically the combination of, it is basically the interpretation of phenomenological data in terms of neuroscientific terms or theories. So basically, a double hermeneutics is involved in this study. First, we will analyze this text in terms of hermeneutics, and secondly, we interpret this phenomenological data in this work in terms of cognitive neuroscience or neurocognitive process. This is the major goal of the study. So basically, the study is a qualitative study which also incorporates the author as an active participant in the study with planned interviews, informal conversations and all. So I would like to discuss with you challenges and ethical considerations. Basically, it would be a time consuming and the analysis part. So it should be handled with precision and awareness, and we should be aware of the Sufi traditions, the terminologies and ways within the limited period of time. And the reflexivity in the qualitative research is very much important. So I would like to use the reflexive journaling method. Especially we are using a double hermeneutics to reduce the biases in some way. Also self-directed introspection is done in the process. Also we are discussing with our research care as well as other experts in the field to reduce the subjectivity in the research. So it is also important to explain these concepts that is portrayed in this book called You on the basis of scientific psychology, valid theories and concepts, especially in the field of transpersonal psychology. One of the limitations is that this is a single work of a single author. So there is a question or challenge that exists regarding how we can place these findings in current psychology literature. By considering the scarcity of data or participants on the topic of interest, especially in transpersonal psychology, such studies are considered reliable. So basically we need informed consent regarding the collection of interview data and also the textual analysis. Also the confidentiality of data should be maintained, right to withdraw should be considered. So finally, the implications I would like to discuss with you is the findings of this work would enrich the modern understanding of consciousness. The possibilities of developing a model of transpersonal states of consciousness through this study. The study would also contribute to the field of transpersonal psychology in widening scopes of transpersonal development. It also helps us to lend our ears to Sufi mystics who claim to experience consciousness transpersonally. It also is an application of this hermeneutic neurophenomenology as an alternative paradigm. That is basically, you can also study consciousness based on text with this method called hermeneutic neurophenomenology. So that's all about my study.